Hello everyone, this is going to be the commentary with the Portal Glitchless TAS, and unlike my commentaries for the outbounds and inbounds TASs, this is actually going to be in real time, so I'm going to explain this as the run happens, without like pausing the video and stuff. And the reasoning for this is because I think the Glitchless run is simple enough to actually explain it in real time, and the YouTube analytics have shown that making 2-hour videos explaining an 8-minute run turns out the viewer retention isn't too high, so only like 20 people are gonna watch that thing. So in hopes that more people watch this thing, I'm gonna make this real time. Although I mean it's good, so it's probably gonna be less popular. But anyway, the glitches category is quite arbitrarily defined, because it's really hard to define what's a glitch and what's not a glitch. You can believe that or not, but it's the truth. So as a result, it's basically just people voting on what's allowed and what's not allowed. So don't complain to me about what's not allowed, because I don't make these rules. So moving on to the run. In Chamber 0, I'm going to be using the radio, and I'm going to be stuck in between the door, and that's going to keep it open once I step off the button. And that saves a little bit of time over the other strat, which would be cube throw. And the main method of movement in this run is this capped B hop, basically. Because obviously ABH is a glitch, so that's banned, so you can't do that. So every time you jump, your speed gets reset to some velocity, but you're still allowed to strafe in the air and on the ground. So you can go a bit faster than what you normally can. I think the speed increase is somewhere along the lines of like, you can go somewhere between like 1.5 times to 2 times faster than just normal walking with the capped B hop. Then moving on to Chamber 2, there's obviously a little bit of waiting at the start of this chamber as well. And I might have to explain some parts of this one quite fast, so I might not be able to explain every detail, but hopefully you can at least get some insight out of this one.
Which may, in semi-rare cases, emancipate dental fillings, crowns, tooth enamel, and teeth.
And at the start of Chamber 2, we're gonna want to grab the portal gun and then go through the portal as fast as possible. The reasoning for this is that right as you get the portal gun, you can actually fire right away, but then the portal you fire gets fizzled after like a half second, so you have to go through the portal really fast. So I was able to jump through the portal right after I fired it. And another mechanic that's used heavily in the Glitchless run is portal peeking, which is basically just using the travel time of the portals. So you can shoot a portal and then swing back into the portal, and as a result you can repeatedly peek portals through the level, which is not a glitch according to the Glitchless rules, which again, I don't make them. In Chamber 4, you can shoot a portal there. The cube falls in the button, and you can just jump through the door. It's a bit inconsistent, basically, with the physics, so that's why that's not viable for RTA runs. Chamber 5 is more cube stuff. I throw the first cube through the portal, actually. If you look at it really closely, I actually grab the cube and then throw it through the portal, which is really difficult because it's an incredibly awkward angle to throw it into, and you also don't see really at all what you're doing, so it's really difficult. And then obviously the second cube, I just pull under it and then throw it at the button and then portal to the end of the level. Chamber 6. Shoot a ball on the ground, on the ceiling, straight to the end.
Safety is one of many enrichment center goals. The aperture science high energy pellet seen to the left of the chamber.
And using that like symbol shape, you can actually skip the puzzle with the orb.
Please be careful.
In Chamber 7, we're going to be also skipping the puzzle by firing a portal on the ground. And because I get so much speed from the TAS strafing, I can actually make it all the way up to the ending platform. And for human, that's basically impossible. Like there's no way you can actually get enough speed by strafing for a normal person, but for TAS it's pretty I mean, it was actually pretty difficult to do, but it's doable, obviously.
Please note
And chain
that we
rate,
have
you can fire a
added
portal on the wall there,
consequence for failure.
jump with the portal,
Any
do a
contact
180,
with the
and
chamber floor
then
will
you're at the end of
result
the map.
in an unsatisfactory
And that
mark
skips
on
the
your
puzzle
official
with the orb
testing
again.
record, followed by death.
Much
Good
like
luck.
Chamber 6 and 7.
Very impressive. Please note that any appearance of danger is merely a device to enhance your...
Chamber 9.
The
This might look like a
Enrichment
glitch,
Center
but I
regrets
promise
to
it's not.
inform you that
So I
this
just
next
fire a
test
portal on the
is
ground there,
impossible.
and then fire another
Take
portal
no
through the door.
attempt to solve
And
it.
then during that I actually crouch into the ground portal before the second portal places, and then I jump through the orange portal when the ground portal or the second portal places. So it's actually just a portal peak, but it looks really weird.
Hello again. To reiterate,
So chamber 10 you can portal halfway through the level then, and then you can jump into this orange portal on the ground with lots of horizontal velocity, and as you go through the blue portal that I like flick placed in 1 second, or like in a fraction of a second, you actually get a lot of vertical velocity, and as a result you make it all the way up to the ending platform. So you don't have to do like the two-phase jump there. Chamber 11 we're going to be getting the dual portal gun, and you're going to press the button, shoot through the through the hatch or whatever, and then just jump through the portal on the lower wall.
valuable than the organs and combined incomes of everyone in.
Subject on time.
In chamber 12 we're also going to be skipping the slant thing by it's getting a lot of horizontal velocity, and as a result, since you can get so much horizontal velocity again with TAS strafing, you can actually go all the way up to the ending platform with like all the horizontal velocity going into vertical velocity, which is quite cool. Chamber 13. Here I used the fact that when you step on a button, you actually press it down. So you can stand on one button and then throw the cube at the other button, and then you can portal through the door. And as a result, you can get to the end of the level really fast.
An associate will be dispatched to revive you with peptic salve.
Chamber 14, you can do a fling with a reportal. So what a reportal is you place a portal as you're entering another portal. So once you exit the portal, a portal is going to be placed behind you, and that's actually going to create like this push, and you're going to go up a bit in the air. And chamber 15, I used the camera there to like bounce the orb, so it goes in the orb catcher directly. And apart from that, this map just has a lot of flings and portal peaks. So yeah, some of these more high-paced maps I might have some trouble explaining, but honestly there's not that many tricks that I used in the glitch run, so it's like mainly the couple few glitches, or not glitches, tricks, obviously, used repeatedly.
The Enrichment Center apologizes for the inconvenience
And also, in Chamber 16, there's a lot of portal shooting all the way to the end of the map. You press the turret on the button,
well done,
and it's done a level.
The Enrichment Center
And that's actually one of the more random levels of this TAS,
is a real place where you will be sent at the first
because
sign of defiance.
PC TASing is kinda scuffed. There's basically just a lot of randomness, and a lot of these scripts have to be replayed a bunch of times in order to get the desired result, which makes the process of TASing these things kinda annoying. But yeah, I was able to manage this though.
This weighted companion cube will accompany you through the test chamber. Please take care of it.
Chamber 17 is nothing special for the first part, but then we go into perhaps a more controversial part of the run, where I just do a fling here, and then jump off the companion cube, which some people might think is a glitch, but hear me out on this. So what's defined as a glitch in Portal is wall climbing, and how wall climbing is defined is it's more than one jump off of a prop in the air. So since I do just one jump in the air, it's fine. Then in Chamber 18, I'm going to be using a camera to block the door from closing. So just like the camera neatly flies into the door path, when I throw it in the air. And there's also some reporters. There's one reporter being used there also to get
the next
the
test requires exposure to
get the platform
uninsulated
skip.
electrical parts that may be dangerous.
And again,
under
reporter was the
certain
trick
conditions.
in Team
For
14
more
where you just shoot a portal
information,
as you're
please
entering
attend
one,
an enrichment
and that creates this like
center
little push
electrical safety
as you go
seminar.
through the portal. And we're on the escapes. Or Chamber 19, to be precise. Chamber 19, there's a lot of portal leaks.
You will drop the device in the equipment recovery annex.
And we'll
Enrichment
have
center
a
regulations require both hands to be empty before any cake. Congratulations. The test is now over. All aperture technology.
There's actually not too much of no happening on this level, it's just all the fast portal shots and movements. The cool thing I was able to do in S-Grade 00 was that I was able to catch the further piston here, which is really difficult to do. Normally you can always do that with ABH. And apart from that, this map is just fast portal shots, a reportal at the end. And Escape 01 is very fast, but you can use your body to activate the turret door, and then I was able to actually strafe all the way over that railing. And then there's this fling to get into the hallway, grab the turret, use the turret to destroy the glass, grab the chair, destroy that glass, shoot through the fan, and enter the map. And then I'm going to be getting as much velocity as possible to do this fling all the way up to the catwalk. And we're on the GLaDOS fight. So the turret clean GLaDOS thing is also considered a glitch. So this is actually one of the only, I think it's the only category for Portal which actually does the GLaDOS fight. So the things we're going to be looking for in the GLaDOS fight is we want to destroy all the cores as fast as possible. And we also want to have the turret shoot GLaDOS as fast as possible. So those are the two things to optimize. So a route that was kind of recently found in Glitchless is you can stand on the railing and just like this, and you can have the turret shoot at you, and that actually fires directly at GLaDOS. So you don't have to use any portals to like redirect the rocket or anything. So this is a bit of time over the Glitchless segmented run, if anyone's seen that.
So get comfortable while I warm up the neurotoxin emitters. Huh. That core may have had some ancillary responsibilities. I can't shut off the turret defenses.
And after I get the turret to shoot GLaDOS, press the button, and then I'm just gonna be in position to throw the cube in the incinerator.
You think you're doing some damage?
2 + 2 is...
And it's gonna be basically the same thing for a couple more times. This core was quite tricky actually. Just where you get it this kind of slow. And then on the last core. And that's game. So hopefully you were able to glean something from this commentary. The task took about, I think it took like 5 months to make or so. And thanks to everyone in the Portal Discord for helping out with routes. Thanks to you also for making SPT and all the task stuff. And yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching.